Do you think the loser can win over the hottest student in school? How will she react to his friend when she climbs on top of the high schooler? And how will her military boyfriend react to all of this? You'll find out in tonight's retelling. Enjoy the movie. The movie begins with a high school graduation party. Here we meet the main character Dennis, who is unrequitedly in love with the main school beauty Beth Cooper. Shortly before the graduation party, his friend Rich advises to confess his love to the girl to pay attention to Dennis, as perhaps they see each other for the last time, so that he won't have regrets for the rest of his life. The school teacher gives the floor to Dennis. The guy seizes the moment to realize his plan. The beginning is too boring and only his parents have fun. But suddenly the most interesting thing starts and the guy decides to confess his love to Beth. Everyone is shocked, especially the girl, as she doesn't know Dennis at all. And the worst thing for Dennis is that the girl's military boyfriend is watching him. Dennis encourages everyone to share their unspoken wishes and confessions so that they won't regret it in the future. After the guy's fiery speech, everyone is shocked. Out on the street, the guy is caught up with by the school teacher. It turns out that she is dissatisfied with Dennis' speech, but remembering herself in her youth when she was in love, she understands the guy perfectly. Suddenly he's approached by the very same Beth Cooper. She admits that Dennis made her feel uncomfortable because she didn't expect such a confession, but she thought it was cute and smiles. She gets too hot and decides to take off her clothes. Under her robe, she has a short t-shirt and shorts, which emphasize her attractiveness. Rich comes up to the couple and interrupts their conversation. The girl turns around to leave, but Dennis stops her and invites her to a party he is organizing at his house. The girl does not want to come to the party and tries to get away from the proposal. Suddenly, Kevin, who is dating Beth, walks up to them. He strangles the guy, but lets him go after a school teacher stands up for Dennis, after which Kevin leaves. The guys go home and on the way they are called losers. Rich tells his friend that he is straight and likes girls. Rich doesn't understand why Dennis thought otherwise. Dennis recalls a situation in the past, but won't admit it to his friend. The friends discuss why Rich hasn't had a girlfriend in high school. It turns out that Dennis hasn't had a girlfriend either, but it's because he hasn't been able to get acquainted. Upon graduation, Dennis's parents gave him an iPod. Rich admits that his parents gave him a bill to pay back all the money he spent on it, which totaled about $250,000. The guys are getting ready for the party. Dennis is nervous and smells his t-shirt, so he decides to air it out. Dennis's parents come home and give advice about the party. They especially emphasize that Dennis needs to change his underwear if he wants the evening to end well. The parents leave the kids 23 bottles of champagne and leave their number in case of an accident. The father also decides to give some advice to his son. He tells Dennis to spend this summer as memorable as possible and that he can do whatever he wants. Before leaving, the father tells them where the contraceptives are, and the boys understand his hint. After the guy's parents leave, they wait for the guests. Suddenly, a car comes around the corner at high speed and heads straight for the guys with Beth driving. She's brought her best girlfriends with her. Getting out of the car, the guys are immediately filled with strength, so the girl is very cute. Walking into the house, the girls are surprised that there are no other guests, as they have never been the first to arrive at parties before. The guys make bad jokes, and the girls don't understand them. Suddenly, Beth gets a call from her boyfriend. Rich and Dennis get out the champagne to relax. It turns out the girls get turned on by the champagne and are ready to do a lot of things. The girlfriends are satisfied that something is already in store, and Rich goes to get the protection they were left with for the fun. While Dennis is trying to open the champagne, Beth is on the phone with her boyfriend and won't tell him where she is so he won't come. As the boyfriend opens the champagne for the first time, he hurts his hand. Then Rich shows that he has found the protection and the cork of the champagne shoots right into her forehead. The friends laugh, but Beth and Rich quickly decide to help. While the guy is lying on the floor, Beth climbs on top of him and sits down to put a cold one on him. As they talk, the guy's arousal gradually builds and the girl feels it as she sits right on top of him. She's surprised and likes it. After that, the guy gets up and hides his powers. The girls realize what's up and they like it, so the girls decide to leave and say goodbye to the guys. Suddenly, they notice another car approaching the house with Kevin and his friends behind the wheel. The car parks right on the lawn outside the house. One of the girls opens the door to meet her boyfriend. Dennis takes her into the house and closes the door so no one can get in. He hurries to close all the windows, but doesn't have time to close the last door, and Kevin manages to get in. Once inside the house, he threatens the guy and smashes a vase into the wall, then taking a bottle of champagne. Guys easily dodges the bottles. Then he throws the microwave into the wall and the guys run away. They lock themselves in their room and look for weapons. The only thing they can find is a child's sword. Rich hides in the closet and Dennis hides behind the wall. After Kevin enters, he notices that Dennis has a picture of Beth above his bed. Dennis decides to fight Kevin, but Kevin has a skeleton behind his back, from which he rips his hands and begins to attack. Kevin deftly wields the skeleton's arms and stabs his opponent. Rich gets out of the closet and jumps out the window. Beth bursts into the room and stops Kevin. She notices her picture above the guy's bed and is surprised. Dennis heads for the window, but Kevin quickly wakes up and nudges the schoolboy. He falls right into the rose bushes. Dennis picks up his friend and they run away over the fence. They are sent off in pursuit. Dennis runs out into the road and notices a car coming at him. Beth hits the guy and gets him in the car. Before they leave, Rich catches up with them. They all get in the car together and Beth steps on the gas. Turns out Beth is a very bad driver. Rich remembers their driving lessons together at driving school and realizes they're still in danger. The guy is thankful for his rescue. Dennis asks for the phone to call his parents, but since they're busy, the man shoves the vibrating phone down his wife's pants. Beth remembers they can be tracked on the phone and throws the phone out the window. Then they turn on the music and the group starts to party. They sing and dance, all on the same page and having a good time. The company gets to the gas station and Beth slams on the brakes. A guy hits his head and falls right between the girl's legs. Beth and Dennis go to buy beer. At the store, Dennis compliments the girl and she likes it. After they have shopped, they are not sold alcohol because they are still in high school. The girl convinces the clerk to sell them beer, and in return she kisses him passionately. Dennis hears all this and becomes disillusioned with the girl. When they get to the woods, they piss off Bonfire and try to have some fun. Beth treats the guy to a beer and shows him that she can open the bottle with her teeth. The guy tries to do it again and breaks his milk tooth. They have romantic music playing and the girls are loving it. The friends realize that the couple needs to be left alone and leave. They find some cows and decide to take one down. Dennis talks about his future plans and what university he plans to go to. The girl asks why the guy is disappointed in her, and the guy replies that his Beth Cooper wouldn't make out for 12 cans of beer, as she is worth more than that. At the same time, their friends are trying to take down a cow. Suddenly, all the cows decide to run after them. After they get back to the car, they tell what happened. Beth smells a foul odor. Turns out it's from Rich after the cows. He leaves his sneakers to get in the car, and they go on their way. In addition to the dangerous driving, Beth turns off the headlights and they continue driving without lights. And after the lights come back on, they immediately cut into someone's car. Turns out it's Dennis's parents. The school kids see what his parents are up to, and it decides to make a quick getaway. They arrive at the party and the girls head to the pool. The guys see that Beth is already talking to someone else, and Dennis goes to the bathroom. He is found by Greg, whom Dennis insulted at the reunion. Dennis finds the right words and the formidable guy starts crying as he was not understood before. They gradually become friends. Greg hugs the guy and he feels better. Dennis goes back to his friend. While they are getting food and punch, a classmate comes up to them and admits that they liked the speech at the prom. After Dennis finds out Kevin's at the party, he runs away. On the way, he meets Beth. They notice Kevin making out with someone else and Beth dumps the guy. They pick up Dennis and his friend. Beth has a plan to help them. Kevin wants to beat up Dennis, but the schoolboy asks the people around him to help him. The landlady comes in and tells Kevin to punish the schoolboy. Suddenly, the school coach comes out and sets the rules of the fight. Dennis gives up as he doesn't want to fight, but Kevin suddenly hits him. Greg stands up for him and knocks him out. Then he knocks out the other two, but in the end, he loses. Suddenly, a car driven by Beth pulls up to the house. She picks up her friends and they drive off. They scream in the car, and the girl decides to drive back to school to have fun. Since the girls are cheerleaders, they dance for the guys. Beth gets sad and they head to the showers. Rich goes to get them. Dennis enters the locker room and sees the beautiful classmates who are shrouded only in a towel. Beth approaches the guy, throwing the towel off of herself. Her friends invite Dennis to go swimming with them. He agrees and is ready to join the completely clean classmates. The girls call out to their friends and the guys head over. After Rich leaves, Dennis is left alone and is found by Kevin. His friend comes to the rescue and saves Dennis. The girls run out of the shower. They run to the car, and on the way they notice that the guy has no pants. At the same time, Rich fights off his abusers. It turns out that he has been preparing for a fight with towels since childhood, and he defeats each of them. Rich gets to his friends who are waiting for him by the car. On the way they discuss why it all started, and the guy tells all the little things he knows about Beth. The friends give him tampons to stop the nosebleeds. Beth reveals that she and her friends originally thought coming to Dennis's party was a joke and would be fun. But things didn't go according to plan as the guy now has a broken nose. Beth tells him to take off his shirt as it stinks. Afterward, she picks up her shirt to air it out, accidentally losing it. Beth stops abruptly. Her friend falls right on top of Rich. Getting back up, Dennis enters looking for the shirt, forgetting that he's wearing his favorite underwear. The friends laugh, but Beth decides to dress him in her cape. They search for the t-shirt together and discuss why the girl is dating Kevin. The girl also wonders why Dennis gave that speech at the prom and confessed his love. He goes into detail why he did that, and the girl likes it. They find his shirt and the evil coon decides to take it for himself. He scares the school kids and they run away. Upon reaching the girlfriend's house, the fun continues. They warm up with a drink, and Beth calls the boy to watch the sunrise. They take a walk. The girl talks about her brother. Rich jokes with the girls, and they get to know each other better as the guy realizes that they have a lot to talk about. At the same time, Dennis along with Beth meet the sunrise. The girl says she likes to be hugged, but when the guy reaches out to do so, she stops him. Rich continues to convince his girlfriends that he likes girls, and they tell why he didn't get turned on in the shower. They try to seduce the guy and show him how they like to eat cookies. After that, they gradually stretch his shirt and go to the bedroom to continue. At the same time, Dennis tells them that all he will remember from school is tonight. Beth says that school was the best years for her, but unfortunately they are over, and she will miss it. The girl is afraid to go into the unknown after school. Dennis supports Beth by reassuring her that everything will be okay. Afterwards, he kisses her. The parents clean up the aftermath of the party. When the school children arrive home, the parents realize that they met them at night. Dennis's mom goes to prepare breakfast. His father supports his son and is glad that he managed to have fun, but says that he should be punished for the first time. Dennis is glad it worked out. Beth and Dennis say goodbye and agree to meet at the reunion, and if they are still free, to marry each other. The girls get in the car and drive off in their own style. It's a 2009 movie called A Night with Beth Cooper. Would you dare to make such a confession on prom night? Break about it in the comments. Like it if you liked this retelling, and see you in the next videos.